Hello and welcome to Enchanted Cottage 333. Today we are going to talk about heartbreak. Whether you feel as though you are a victim or a perpetrator or a little of both, all of those things are for you. And I'm here in a local park. It's a beautiful day. It's 68 degrees, perfect weather. You might hear the occasional car going by or, the occasional pedestrian. People are out running this morning. It's quite a nice day. But at any rate, I am not about to sit here and say that I know how you feel, that I've been where you are, because every situation is different. What I can tell you is that I know how it feels to hurt. And I have been hurt and I have hurt people. So I have been in both of those sets of circumstances, okay? Typically heartbreak results from a romantic breakup, maybe divorce or something of that nature. But, it doesn't have to be. Certainly it can relate to children or family members as well. So a lot of what I talk about today is going to be universally applicable to those situations. A lot of what I talk about is going to relate to some other videos that I have in a playlist on my channel called Self-Improvement. I will refer a lot to the Law of Attraction video, as well as a video called Shadow Work. And if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to my channel and hit the like button and share this if you think that you know someone who may benefit from that or any other material that you may wander across on my channel. So with that being said, like I said, I don't know how you feel, but I know how I felt. So I can only apply from what I know. I'm not the end all be all, and certainly there are a million different views about how to get over heartbreak, how to work through it. I will say this, let's just start with the, how you may be feeling. I mean, a lot of times people who have been through a major traumatic shock, if you will, feel a sense of a loss of identity, a loss of purpose. Maybe you don't even know who you are anymore. Maybe you feel like you lost control of your life, okay? I know I went through heartbreak, of course, many times in my life, but oftentimes I would feel paralyzed where I couldn't even do anything functional, work-related or home-related. I know, folding a load of laundry, for example, typically takes me maybe 10 minutes. I can remember a time where it literally took me all day to fold a load of clean towels to put away, right? The physical manifestation associated with heartbreak, I mean, certainly, stomach aches and digestional issues and headaches and, just feeling exhausted, okay? And that's a symptom of your soul being tired. I mean, I will say that, okay? It can manifest in so many different ways. I mean, sometimes, it can even hurt literally in your chest. I mean, it can cause panic attacks, okay? You can't sleep, you can't eat, and when you do eat, you get sick kind of thing. You're overthinking, you're constantly thinking about it, and, sometimes it involves a financial setback, okay? Particularly if you were, living in the same household, maybe you went through a divorce or a breakup like that, and many times there are children involved. So it complicates things because you feel like you have to be strong for your children, and you do, so it's a very difficult balancing act to go through all of those things. So here's the thing, and look, this is part of my been there, done that. This is one thing that I experienced, and I'm certain it is true for many, many people. Everybody is very quick to say to you, oh, well, I know what you need to do is just go out and start dating and get into another relationship, right? That's the advice of the masses, and I will tell you that they are not woke. They are asleep. They are comatose for the most part. There are people in this world who are awake, but the majority are asleep. So excuse me one second while these folks walk by. Okay, I'm so sorry. Again, I'm in a public park. So anyway, but you just need to get out there and date. They say you need to go ahead and get into a relationship. And, I mean, a lot of times I've heard women joke about the best way to get over one man is to get under another. I submit to you that all of those things are the absolute worst things you can do. If you want to follow the masses, certainly you have that choice. But in doing so, I submit to you that you will probably become a statistic, just like many of those do. And let me just give you some statistics. You know, I researched this, and the divorce rates right now for first marriages, 40 to 50% will end up in divorce. For second marriages, 60 to 65% will end up in divorce. Third marriages, 76% will end up divorced, and fourth marriages are 93%. Yeah, and here's the most disturbing thing about those statistics. They're actually lower in recent years than in the past. And do you know why? It's because people are not getting married, they're just cohabitating or what have you. And so it skews the statistics, okay? And so if you look at it that way, the divorce rates are really higher. So I say this to you. You certainly have the choice to go out and get into another relationship, you know, and do that sort of thing. But you will more than likely become a statistic, okay? And I don't want that for anyone who's watching this. So I hope to give you some tools today. And I'm not the end-all be-all, okay? But I hope to give you some tools today to help you to where you won't go into another relationship before you're ready, okay? Now, healing and working through stuff, everybody has a different timeline. Do not rush it, be patient, but don't let anybody tell you, well, you should be ready to date in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. You know, I've heard all kind of timelines. Okay, baloney. It has nothing to do with the calendar, because every hurt is different, every situation is different, every connection that someone is healing from is different. So therefore, the timeline is different. I say to you, follow your intuition, okay? You're gonna know more about what is best for you than anyone. And let me just say that, you know, a breakup that I went through about 4 years ago, that was some of the advice that I got. You just need to get out and date. Well, I tried it. It felt horrible. I felt better being at home alone, and that I didn't understand then, but that was literally my intuition, or higher self, if you will, speaking to me saying, don't do this. And here's why. If you don't work through your stuff, and we're going to talk about, you know, ways to work through it, but if you don't work through it, here's what's going to happen. You are going to carry pain, anger, resentment, and trauma into your next relationship, okay? You have heard it said that you will bleed on a person who didn't cut you, and that's exactly what will happen. And probably that's what went wrong in what you're recovering from now. Either you did it, or they did it, or perhaps both, okay? But at any rate, you want to be able to make sure you're relationship ready, and have the tools to know how to tell when the person that you're looking at in the future is relationship ready as well. So, you know, to get out there and date before you're ready, okay, it's not fair to other people. It's just not fair, because you're wasting their time, and possibly a lot of time if you get into a relationship with this person, and then really doing them wrong by hurting them unintentionally, okay? You know, we walk into situations where we're like, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm going to require this and that and the other. And that's, you know, a lot of times that's bitterness manifesting. You can be better from this or bitter, and it's totally up to you. But, you know, this is the thing. The information that I bring today, some of it, you know, a lot of people are going to disagree with, and I'm certainly fine with that. But I will say this, and I saw this on another channel that I have a lot of respect for, that says, you know, there is a price to pay for not wanting to see the truth. Being easily manipulated, effortlessly controlled, and definite suffering. Okay? And so I'm not trying to be, you know, hard on people, because I know you're going through a hard time as it is. But I hope to gain your attention to keep this from repeating. Because, you know, if you're in a situation where you've had relationship after relationship after relationship that has failed for one reason or another, then you've got to look at that repeating pattern and ask why you keep having failed relationships, and what you may be, yes, you may be doing to attract that. Okay. Because, you know, here's the thing. And let's talk about something. You know, well, Okay, the first thing you need to do is this. The sadness that you're feeling, the anger, the pain, the resentment. Get alone and feel it. Don't suppress it, because that is burying it into your shadow self. Carl Jung did a lot of research about the shadow self and doing the shadow work. Okay, we hide things in our shadow self about that we think are inappropriate. You know, I shouldn't feel this way, so I'm just gonna not feel this way, and I'm gonna replace it with a better thought. Well, that's very toxic, because you're suppressing it, but it will come out. And the thing is, it will come out in a very unhealthy way towards someone who doesn't merit that behavior, right? And you don't want to do that, because it's hurtful towards people. So certainly you want to cry and get that release, or scream or yell, or, you know, throw the dishes against the side of your house, you know, whatever you need to do to feel the feels. Now, certainly you don't want to stay there, because you don't want to wallow there. That would be toxic, okay? So, but typically, you know, you will feel this, where at a certain point you feel a release, okay? And when you do, here's the other thing, and this is so hard, and I get what I'm about to say is hard, but here's the reason that you need to do this. And you've heard it said 100 times that forgiveness is more for you than for the other person. I can't stress that enough, because forgiveness is holding on to a grudge. And if you're holding on to a grudge, you're holding on to the emotion that's associated with it, which is typically pain or anger, which again is going to manifest itself not just in the next romantic relationship, but with every relationship in your life that you currently have, including your children, your bosses, your coworkers, your friends, your family, everybody. Okay, so it's best to go ahead and try to work through this stuff and not be in denial that you feel the way you feel. Okay, feelings are neither good nor bad, they just are. But what's bad is to deny them. Okay, I'm just going to say that. So here's the thing. This is the other thing. And this is another thing that's very difficult, okay? All of this takes time, so do not rush be patient and gentle with yourself as you walk through this stuff. It's not easy, okay? But look, you've heard about energy and vibration and how we attract where we are vibrating, I'm sure. You may or may not know this, but we are all vibrating, and even Einstein spoke to this as far as people and things and everything. Everything is vibrating, and when you vibrate on the same frequency as another vibration, you're going to attract to each other, okay? That's not to say that if you're a jerk, you're going to attract a jerk. It can mean what you're focused on or what you fear the most, because it's whatever is in your head. Look, you know, for example, if I'm of the mindset of, oh God, please don't let this be a cheater. Okay, odds are you're going to get, you know, you're going to manifest some behaviors out of someone that maybe they didn't even have the tendency to have. I'm just going to say that. So if you expect the worst, you know, that Murphy's Law mentality where, you know, whatever can go wrong will go wrong, or I'm afraid I'm going to, you know, I'm fearing that I'm going to have, you know, be cheated on or stolen from or, you know, abused or whatever, that's what you're going to attract more of. So it has nothing to do with karma, where people get their just desserts, but everything to do with where you are vibrationally, energetically, okay? And what you're expecting and what you're manifesting, and where you're, and honestly, right now, if you're heartbroken, you're vibrating right there right now, which is a great reason to not date, because you don't want to attract, you know, that same type of person or behavior who is broken or what have you, okay? So you've got to accept that responsibility, okay, that you are vibrating there. Now, that's not to say that I'm beating you up. Please don't beat yourself up for this. The point is to recognize what you were vibrating at so that you can raise your vibration to do better, okay, and to heal. And healing and doing shadow work is, you know, essential to raising your vibration, okay? The Law of Attraction video that I have tells you how to raise your vibration, and a part of that, a large part of that, is doing shadow work. So I'm going to refer you to both of those videos, but you have to accept your responsibility. And look, if you were the perpetrator, okay, if you were the cheater, if you were the one, you know, okay, accept it, feel the feels about it. Okay, it's okay to feel bad for a while, but then at some point, you know, it's unhealthy to not forgive yourself, because again, you're holding a grudge towards yourself, and it's going to affect everyone around you. And I speak from the voice of experience on that, on inability to forgive myself for some things, okay? And it truly, truly was a very toxic energy that I was in. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, we're coming out of codependent or abusive relationship. If that's so, you know, then it has to do with your subconscious beliefs. I have a video called Changing Your Beliefs that talks about this. The way to change your beliefs as far as what to attract to you is dealing with the subconscious, not the conscious. In other words, okay, great if you want to stand in front of the mirror and recite, you know, affirmations. Okay, that's great. But if you don't believe it subconsciously, then it's not going to do any good, really. Okay, the only way that it's going to do good is to affirm what you already believe subconsciously. And your subconscious, by definition, you're unaware of your beliefs. Okay, and my Changing Your Beliefs taps into how to get to your subconscious to work on that. Okay, that's essential for changing your vibration. It is critical to change your beliefs. Okay, subconscious beliefs. Okay, so here again, this speaks to having to get out of that victim mentality. Here's why it's important to get out of the victim mentality. Because if you can get out of the victim mentality and take responsibility for your role in this debacle that happened to you, then you realize you're the one in power, in the power seat, in the driver's seat in your life. Okay, and really you always have been. Okay, but the victim mentality places their power in the hands of someone else. And that means you are powerless then. And we both know that's just not so. Not really. We all have divinely given gifts of being in control of our own lives and making the decisions and, you know, changing our energetic vibration to be in control. So, you know, again, forgive others, forgive yourself, get out of victim mentality. You've got to learn to love yourself, and that's going to come from changing your subconscious beliefs about who you are. But if you could see you through your heart and see that you are literally divine source love, that is your soul, and you have beauty. And it takes time, okay? This does not happen overnight, and it's a lifelong process, honestly. But you want that cup to be flowing, overflowing so much that you have all the love you need right here, okay, inside, and you're just bubbling over. And you want to get to the mentality where you are fine being alone or with somebody. In other words, there are 3 words that I like to use that are the most, when you get to this point in your healing process, this is going to be magical. And hold on just a second, I'm going to let this lady pass by. I think she's having a conversation. Sorry. Okay, it's okay. So anyway, everybody, like I said, everybody's out enjoying the weather. But okay, there are 3 magical words when you get to this point, and it takes time, okay? Give yourself time. Be patient with yourself, okay? Be gentle, okay? You're going through a rough time. Just be gentle. And if some days you feel like you just barely held it together, guess what? It's okay, because you're going to start again tomorrow, right? But okay, at some point in your healing, as you go along this process where you're growing in your self-love and you're finding your own power and the truth about what you're really capable of as an individual, it's amazing how much we as individuals are capable of. Okay, you will come to a point where you can say these 3 words: I'm fine regardless. I'm fine regardless. And let me tell you the magic in that. Because when you get to the point where you're fine alone or fine with someone, you don't want to be at that place where I don't want anybody else. I'm fine alone. That's bitter. Okay, there's a red flag there. You may go through that as a part of this process, and it's okay. Just understand it's temporary and you got to move past it, okay? So again, don't beat yourself up if you're feeling that. Just know that it is a toxic place to stay in and you got to move past it. But when you get to that magical place of I'm fine regardless, that is magic, because that is where you are going to attract the best love for you, the best job, the best people, the best friends, and the best behaviors out of already existing people in your life, your family members. I've seen it, okay? When I started working on me, my relationship with my father, who is 86, and my daughter changed overnight, and they didn't even know what I was doing, but they're like, Mom, wow, you know, and an authenticity came to those relationships like nothing I've ever seen, and unexplainable, you know, miraculous change. And it was because of the work I was doing on me, and I was attracting the best out of them. So it can happen, okay? You know, but the sense of freedom that you finally get, you're going to learn to value it, and you're going to find it exists in a healthy relationship. There's no clinginess. There is a freedom to be who you are. And when you find your authentic self and you come to stand in your own power, you will find out that is where you are the most attractive, the most beautiful, the most handsome, the biggest hottie, okay? The sexiest, the most smartest, the most effective worker, the smartest mom, the most understanding mom with the best possible relationship with your children, your parents, in every area. And it has to do with working on you. And, you know, it requires meditation. You know, it requires a lot of meditation, as I spoke about in Changing Your Beliefs. And don't be afraid of meditation because, okay, I'm a Gemini, and I understand that it takes some effort to get used to quieting your mind. I used to think meditation had to do with not having any thoughts, but then I soon realized that's not possible. We have a mind, and it's constantly going, right? And even when we're asleep, we're totally in the subconscious then. But the meditation information that I give you in the Changing Beliefs tells you how to literally go to your subconscious when you're meditating. And it's a very effective way to work on that subconscious belief about yourself, okay? And, you know, one thing I'm going to say, there is another video, and I know I keep referring to all these videos, but it has to do with Want Love, Here's How. Those are keys to knowing when you're relationship ready, okay? And it will help you to know when a potential romantic partner is ready as well. You know, there has to be a commitment on both individuals' parts to do continuous self-work, you know. And let me tell you something, healing and shadow work is something we're going to be doing for the rest of our lives, okay? I'm still working on stuff from my childhood. I ain't there yet, okay? Nobody reaches, you know, nobody has arrived. We will be doing shadow work as long as we are breathing, okay? If we're doing this right, I'm just going to say that. Otherwise, we'll become a statistic, right? We'll become that parent that, you know, has a horrible relationship with their child. And I'm not saying it's foolproof, but it sure will help. I promise you that. And all I can say is this. I've lived, you know, more than half a century, and I've tried a lot of different things that didn't work. What I'm sharing with you was the life preserver that did. Okay? So with that being said, I wish you the brightest of blessings. My email address is enchantedcottage333@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to me. I do coaching for, you know, work like this, okay? And I hope if you haven't already done so, you will subscribe to my channel and certainly like and share it. And of course, hit the notification button so you'll know when I do future uploads, okay? With that being said, until next time, I wish you greatest of blessings.